My name is Goetjen, and I, just like each of you, was born with what scientists estimate as 22,000 protein coding genes, which would serve as a basic template for how my life was to turn out. Had I not received this unique mix of nucleotides, I would not have developed various genetic abnormalities such as a bleeding disorder or a cucumber allergy, the latter of which actually played into my graduate school applications. More on that later. Though I'm still a student both of life and in school, I can confidently stand here and tell you that our environments play just as important a role into shaping who we are as genetics do. It is this combination, or gene by environment interaction, that I would like to speak more about today, and how it got this girl interested in how the world worked around her, and interested in science to apply to and graduate from college as a first-generation college student, and finally to the place in an MD PhD program where the end is in sight with a freshly earned PhD and applying to residencies within the next year. For the uninitiated, MD PhD programs allow interested students to intertwine formal research training with their medical schooling, with the end products being an MD and a PhD. The PhD portion is sandwiched between the medical school portions and can vary in length from 3 years to basically however long it ends up taking. My own project focused on using stem cell derived neurons or brain cells to study genetic aspects of alcohol use disorder. Alcohol use disorder, as well as many other non-psychiatric and psychiatric disorders and traits, are shaped not only by our genetics, but also our environment. My own diagnosis of sorts, which is hopefully becoming a physician scientist in the field of psychiatry, has been shaped by my genes and by my environment. And in periodically taking a step back to recognize the choices that I've made, the genes that have shaped me, and the environments that I've been in, I can not only appreciate what that's been in terms of its significance for shaping me into who I am today, but also shaping other people into who they will become tomorrow, especially those that come from backgrounds like mine. Any family member, friend, or teacher from kindergarten throughout high school could automatically tell you two things about me. One, that I was shy, which turned out to be a lovely mix of anxiety and perfectionism. And two, boy, was she studious. My mom recalls me following her around the house with a board book in my hand as soon as I could crawl, wanting to be read to, and she could tell where I was relative to where she was by how loud the thump, thump, thump on the floor was of the board book. Though I couldn't talk until I was about age 2, once I started talking, my family couldn't really get me to stop. I questioned everything in the world around me by using my all-encompassing word ado to do so, and somehow my family understood me and would constantly answer this question after question until I was satisfied. And as I'll show you, the work that I've done, I've never been happy with it until it was perfect. My family provided me, obviously, with the genes that served as my foundation, as also a supportive environment to foster my growth, both as a person, a lifelong student, and hopefully what I aim to become in the future. While there are many separate talks that I could give based off the material that I have built this talk around from today, one of which would undoubtedly be the effects that each of my family members have had on me. The two characters that I'll be able to introduce you today are my mom and my maternal grandfather. My mom raised 3 wonderful daughters on her own, and that's a group that I'm blessed to be a part of. And by observing her face life's challenges without faltering, I have hopefully taken that seed and allowed it to blossom inside me, and that's what's helped me face various obstacles throughout the path. She's also had immense patience in testing me on things from spelling tests to Okinawan terms, whether I wanted to succeed in karate, school, or beyond. My grandfather was the unwilling victim, or willing, of my perfectionism And to any English teachers of mine who are watching this talk, he is the one that undoubtedly deserves the praise for all of the artistic work that was done on those projects. We would sit around the table for hours and talk about my lofty visions that I could not carry out with my meager artistic skills, and he would sit there until my visions matched what was on the paper. And for better or for worse, this is what fostered that sense of perfectionism. My genetic family, as well as ones that family members I've earned along the way in various environments, have worked on that basic genetic structure and have continued to foster and refine the things that have made me me, as well as helped me advocate for those behind me. While I've been interested in science for as long as I can remember, it was my high school teacher, Miss Reed, who taught AP Bio, who fostered a love of biology and medicine so strong that it has brought me to a place where I'm still in graduate school today, 14 years after having been in her class. As none of my immediate family had applied to college before me, she was immensely supportive in both writing a letter of recommendation for college, as well as answering any questions or quelling any worries that I had along the path. And one of the most important takeaways that I got from her relative to advice was to fiercely advocate for myself and to show each of these schools what I could provide to their environments as a first-generation college student. It was the hard work that I put into my grades, and especially the support from my family, as well as my teachers, notably Miss Reed, which granted me a fully financially supported spot in UConn's honors program. While at UConn, one of the things that I wanted to do was to give back to the research community and make some sort of discovery of my own through a research project. Dr. Connect, my research advisor in college, could see how stressed I was as I had not had any research experience prior to this and was learning all of these new things on top of a full course load, and asked me to consider whether or not I should quit based on my stress level. Spoiler alert, since you're watching this talk and know that I have gone on to pursue things like a PhD, I did not quit. That is due to a combination of not only my genes, but also the supportive environment that I had around me, not only before I entered the lab, but especially within the lab itself. For the first time in my life, I was surrounded by people that loved science without fail, and they also supported each other in both science and in life each and every day. These people became part of my earned family in due time. And the senior graduate student in the laboratory at that time was my first female mentor in science. Dr. Renee Gilberti not only served as a TA for one of my classes and a research mentor, but most sincerely has served as a friend. And she's helped me through various things, such as supporting me as a first-generation college student, teaching me new skills in the laboratory, and most importantly, has served as a support during my MD, PhD application process. And in trying to give back for all that she supported me, I am always eager and excited to support her in her formal capacity, mentoring students like me who are either first generation or underrepresented in science and medicine, whenever given the chance to do so. Nearing the end of my junior year of college, I had to decide whether I wanted to enter MD-only programs or MD-PhD programs. And despite not knowing much about the differences in the application process, of which there are many, and that could be its own separate talk, and not having mentors that could adequately help coach me on the application process, I decided that since I knew research was going to be a significant part of my career, that I was to apply to MD PhD programs. the tenacity and the perseverance that I continue to foster, as well as those strong genetic characteristics, earned me not only a number of interviews and acceptances, which got me here, and have allowed me to continue to grow as a person, a physician, and a scientist, but have also allowed me to create a supportive and fostering environment for those who are to come up behind me. In starting the MD PhD program, I knew walking in that I was going to be in the minority of students. I was one of only 2, now 4, MD PhD students in my year. Was one of the few that did not have a medical or science professional in my family, and further was one of even fewer who started this journey as a first-generation college student. While I felt alone in these aspects, I was met with nothing but kindness, support, and friendship from all of my colleagues who are lovely nerds just like me from day one. We spent all of our time together, became each other's tutors, students, and colleagues. But most importantly, I hope that they all know that they became my surrogate family as well. And without this environment, I know that I would not have figured out that this is where I was meant to be, and I would not have figured out who I was meant to become. If any member of my entering class were standing here before you today, I know that we would all mention one individual who had an immense impact on us in the short time that we knew her. That person was Taylor Shania. She was quite literally the driving force behind many of the things that I've done in the last 8.5 years, from being my driving teacher and getting me my license to becoming one of my best friends, and most notably teaching me the second definition of fear as she battled cancer with unwavering positivity. I know for a fact that I would not continue to embody that second definition of fear, which is to face everything and rise, for myself, let alone others that are following me, and that she has made each member of our class better, more empathetic physician scientists to be. Without her, I would not advocate as strongly for all of these things had I not met her. In addition to the many wonderful things that I've been able to do as like for myself as an MD PhD student, the impact that I judge myself on most critically is the various impacts that I've had on the community around me through science outreach, mentoring in the laboratory, and most close to my heart, serving on the MD PhD program's admissions committee. This past year, we admitted the most diverse and first female majority class in our entire program's history. And this is not my achievement whatsoever. It is that of those who trusted not only me, but also our program, especially in discussions that we had over the past year in increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion. And hopefully, this will continue to foster more conversations with these superstars that we just admitted, and will hopefully recruit more amazing people that we hope to add to our program's family in the years to come. To bring this talk full circle, I'd like to talk a little bit about 2 genetic pieces of the puzzle that I haven't introduced yet, which are my younger sisters, Brianna and Sienna. To Brianna, hopefully I provide you adequate do's and don'ts during the college admissions process, and I think that I may have as you've become successful on your own after graduating from college. Sienna is now a sophomore in high school and shares my love of science, and it's warmed my heart anytime that I've been able to work on a science project with her. If I've done nothing more in life than to help mold the 2 of you into the wonderful people that you are and the shining stars that I know you're bound to become tomorrow, I would consider this journey of success. I hope that I've served as a decent mentor to you, and I'm so very lucky to be your sister. I hope that hearing my story has taught you a couple of things. First, to take stock of the support network that you have, to find people who are like you, and especially to find those who will help pick you up when you fall over. Look to your family, both blood-related and earned, and tell them how very much they mean to you and how thankful you are for them while you still have the opportunity to do so. Finally, if you're like the main character in the stories that I've told, be that person for someone else. Foster their environments and allow them to flourish no matter what stage of life they're in. Enact those changes you wish to see in the world. Thank you sincerely for your time.